Christian parents need to brace themselves for being totally unappreciated. Like, dude, you're gonna change hundreds of nasty diapers, clean up buckets of barf, and chauffeur like 1,000,000 miles without a single thank you. Parenting is so like peeing in your wetsuit. Your kids will be clueless, but you'll get a totally warm feeling inside.
So what do Christian parents need? We need unity. That's what we're going to talk about at today's Family Practice. Hi, I'm Ben Burns. Welcome to Family Practice, where we get your kids to brush their teeth for more than 10 seconds. No, we can't actually do that, but we can help you build more closeness, cooperation, and Christian influence in your family. On this channel, we've said that parenting is discipleship and discipleship is relationship. It's my hope that your kids will hear and feel the gospel in your home as you walk with God and walk with your kids. Remember, there are no perfect parents, but with God's help, we can all get better at nurturing and guiding our kids to follow Christ and flourish as God's image. We've been discussing some foundational faith perspectives we need as Christian parents. If we hope to influence our kids for Christ, remember the airplane oxygen mask principle. Just as we need to secure our own mask before helping our kids with their mask, we need to take care of our own faith before helping our kids with their faith. Today, we'll discuss how Christian parents need unity. Before we start, though, let's talk about these. Snow skis. Did you know there's a sport called speed skiing? The speed's determined over the course of a 1-kilometer run. And the world record for men's speed skiing is 159 miles an hour, held by Frenchman Simon Billy. A bicyclist will never achieve that speed. The Tour de France is for wimps. The first time I skied was on a double black diamond run. Black as in death, double as insane. I was scared to death. I later learned that the friends I went with were helicopter skiers, as in you jump out of a perfectly safe helicopter into waist-deep snow on the top of a mountain. One of those friends taught me that if I want to go fast, then keep my skis together and point it downhill. If I wanted to stop, pull my skis apart and point them towards each other like a snowplow. But he also told me to be careful not to cross my skis because I'd fall and possibly get hurt. Well, the same is true in parenting. When dad and mom are together and pointed in the same direction, their influence for Christ can be amazing. But when parents are apart and pointed in the wrong direction, their influence can stop, and people can actually get hurt. As I said in an earlier video, our unity as believers, and especially as husband and wife, father and mother, is so important to God. In John 17, Jesus prayed to the Father, "I do not ask on behalf of these alone, but for those also who believe in me through their word, that they may all be one, even as you, Father, are in me and I in you." Our unity reflects the very character of God. So let's discuss 3 areas where Christian parents need to work together, then look at 3 quick steps to achieving unity. Let's get into our training. As Christian parents, we need unity in our marriage. God designed parenting to be a team effort. It takes a husband and a wife to make a baby, and it takes a father and a mother to raise that baby. The biggest threat to our parenting is the lack of unity in our marriage. If we're not doing well in our marriage, it's harder to get on the same page in our parenting. There are 3 factors that challenge our unity in marriage. First is conflict. Conflict is common to all married couples. All. Our unity breaks down when we disrespect and hurt each other in our disagreements. We hurt each other when we don't listen well, when we assume the worst in our spouse, when we say mean things, or when we don't keep our word. If we don't resolve our conflicts, it leads to the second challenge, apathy. We stop caring about the marriage. We stop loving. We don't do the work to understand and empathize with our spouse. We don't apologize, and we don't forgive. The biblical idea of love is sacrificial action, seeking the good of the other person. When we stop loving our spouse the way God loves us, our hearts grow cold and distant. If we stay apathetic, it leads to the third challenge to unity, a hard heart. Jesus said this is the number one reason why people get divorced. When challenged by the Pharisees about divorce, Jesus said, "Because of your hardness of heart, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives. But from the beginning, it has not been this way." When our hearts are stone cold towards our spouse, we'll justify almost any harmful behavior. If you're struggling with unity in your marriage, you're not alone. Let me suggest two things. First, go to a marriage retreat or a marriage conference. My wife and I speak all over the country at the Weekend to Remember marriage conferences sponsored by Family Life. For over 20 years, we've seen God help thousands of couples restore unity in their marriage. If you'd like to learn more about a Weekend to Remember and even about a discount, look below. My second suggestion is get counseling. Even though my wife and I speak at marriage conferences, we've struggled in our own conflict resolution skills. And we teach this stuff. We kept getting stuck. So we met twice a month with a professional counselor for over 4 years. Because we both came from very dysfunctional homes and we needed help unlearning our poor communication habits. Kids need their parents to resolve their conflicts, to forgive each other, to keep moving towards each other, and to stay married. The best thing we can do for our children is to maintain the unity in our marriage. Second, we need unity in our parenting vision. In other words, what kind of kids do you hope to raise? I suggested in an earlier video that our goal as Christian parents is to nurture and guide our kids, to follow Christ, and flourish as the image of God. What do you think about that goal? Would you agree with that? Would you disagree with that? What's more on your heart for your kids? Make the time to discuss your goals together as a couple and write them down. Your parenting vision is not just about what kind of kids you want to raise, but what kind of family you want to have. For my wife and I, we're working and praying for 4 qualities in our family. Closeness. We want to be a family that is loving and has enjoyable relationships with each other throughout life. Cooperation. We want to be a family that gets along well and helps each other. Fun. We want to be a family that laughs together. And Christian. We want to be a family that genuinely and individually follows Jesus. We found that having these adjectives weren't magical, but they help direct our prayers and our parenting. So what adjectives do you want to use to describe your family? You get to choose. Lastly, we need unity in our parenting plan. In other words, how do we work with God to build the family we want? Proverbs 16:9 says, "The mind of man plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps." As parents, we're the leaders in our homes, but we're dependent on God to help us be successful. Our Parenting Action Plan worksheet will help guide your discussions on how you want to lead your kids as a couple. It covers 6 topics. How you view your authority in your home. What character qualities you want to model and develop. Ways to help your kids develop their faith. Establishing family rules. Creating daily rhythms and weekly rhythms. And choosing which form of discipline you want to practice. I know this worksheet might look pretty OCD and perfectionistic. And that's probably because I'm OCD and perfectionistic. Look, these are just my opinions, not some standard of performance to shame you. Use this worksheet if it helps, or let it inspire you to think of other ways you want to lead in your family, but develop a plan together. The more intentional you are, the more successful you'll feel as leaders in your home. Well, those are 3 areas in which Christian parents need to work together. Now, let's look at 3 quick steps to building unity. First, think team. Any successful team depends on its unity. Remember, Jesus said that as a married couple, you are no longer 2, but 1 flesh. What hurts one of you hurts both of you. Resolve your conflicts. Choose to keep pursuing and forgiving each other. Soften your hearts. Kids need their dad and mom to stay together to help them grow up and be ready for life. Second, discuss goals. It's been said, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. We probably won't reach all of our faith goals, but they do have a powerful way of setting our direction, giving us motivation, and focusing our prayers. You may emphasize different goals in different seasons or come up with new ones over time, but discuss and review your faith goals often. And third, be patient. You'll have a lot of parent fails with your kids and with each other as a team. Satan wants you to quit. Don't. Parenting is a long game, so learn from failure. Keep talking with each other. Work as a team and trust God to help you. Paul said, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for in due time we will reap if we do not lose heart." Those are some suggestions for building unity in your parenting. Christian author Randy Alcorn said, "If we don't think strategically about parenting, then we've made a statement. Our children aren't important, or parenting comes so naturally that it happens without our attention. If we're going to influence our children, we need to strategize, regrouping, and reevaluating along the way." So that's our 8th foundational faith perspective. Christian parents need unity. Creating unity in your marriage and your parenting is not easy, but God's Spirit will help you as you both yield to Him. All right, let's get to your workout. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, I want you to work on your parenting game. Remember, there are no perfect parents, but we can all get a little better with God's help and practice. If you want to feel more confident in leading and loving your kids, then guard the next 15 minutes and do these 3 things. First, reflect. How are you doing as a couple? How is your marital unity? Are you on the same page about how you want to raise your kids? Second, apply. Talk, talk, talk. The only way you're going to get closer in your marriage and feel more confident as parents is to make the time and effort to talk with each other. So set a day and a time to do that this week. Third, pray. Ask the Lord to help you grow in unity as a couple and in your parenting. And if you're struggling, discern if a marriage conference or even counseling is your next step. It's so important to God and to your kids that you're on the same page. Well, thanks for joining me at Family Practice. If you want a summary of today's training and a guided plan for today's workout, then click the link in the description section below. Also, don't forget to download a copy of our Parenting Action Plan. If this parenting workout has been helpful to you, hit the share button and tell a friend. And if you'd like to see more of these workouts, be sure to like and subscribe. Well, today we discussed how Christian parents need unity. But what happens when unity is hard? We persevere. That's what we'll look at next time. So until then, remember, to get the family you want takes practice. All right, bring it in. Hey, Sherwood, care to join us? All right, family on 3. 1, 2, 3, family.